All right, good morning, everybody. Same plan today. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. If you're on TikTok, I'm not able to see comments, so I'll get to comments and questions about 9 a.m. In about 30 minutes after we're done with the morning huddle. So let's start off today looking at the economic events. Just kind of on Mondays, I like to do this just to kind of see what the forecast is for the week. Because keep in mind, you may not have news today, but news in 2 days could be what they set up for. So if they anticipate that the market is overly bullish, right, they may let it climb, let it climb, let it climb, knowing that the news might be bad, right, to drop it down to wreck everybody too. So typically when there's news, the first trend is not always the right one, and then it reverses out. So not a lot going on Monday, as you can see, right? All two heads here. Tuesday, we do have a little bit going on in here. Nothing that's gonna completely rock the markets. But Wednesday seems to be the day. We have the core CPI. As you see here, right? The not only the core CPI is showing that it's the number is going to come down, but the actual year-over-year CPI shows that it's supposed to have another big drop. If y'all remember from the month prior, we had a really big drop as well. So this projection is likely what's holding the markets up. If this number comes out bullish again, like let's say 3 or 2.9, like super like lower than what is already expected to be bullish, then I would anticipate that that's going to give us just a crazy explosion north. But this is a pretty interesting prediction, and this is why you want to see these numbers, because the forecast is showing that we should be pretty bullish now, likely built into the market, but it doesn't mean that we can't go higher because of that. So it's definitely something you want to look at, when you're looking at the forecasts with these news. And then you got the crude oil inventories, which is also going to move it a little bit. And then Thursday we had another kind of bigger day with the jobless claims and the PPI. So it seems like Wednesday, Thursday is going to be the day. So we'll keep that in mind as we're trading and as we're setting up the ATAs. Wednesday's forecast is going to be bullish as far as that goes. So when I talk about setup, right? So if Wednesday's forecast is going to be bullish, what do you think everybody's going to try to do today and tomorrow? They're going to take longs, right? They're going to just stay long, stay long, stay long. Well, if you're trying to balance the market, right, and you know that a lot of people are going to be taking longs, big money is going to basically push that market down, right, taking the shorts, which is going to wreck all the retailers, confused as to why the market's not going up if the projection's bullish. And then what'll happen is it'll hit a point that it will reverse, right? And then so everybody eventually that's getting stopped out on the way down sometimes can flip to short or put, and then they basically take the news and reverse it on you. So, I would be really cautious today trading wherever that trend goes really strong early, whether it's up or down. Just be very cautious because it's likely not the right way. Looking at the SPY, so we had two lines that we drew. If y'all remember, we had this one here, which was just a small little two touch, right? It held up pretty strong, and then we had this lower one, which was a point from here that we drew early, right? Which it looks like it hit pretty well here, a little bit low there, so we could probably adjust this. Let's mute the gap fill. Let's take this point here, and then just make sure we got this lined up right there on the bottom, right? So this is just going to be kind of like a subtle bottom for us if we stay below this trend line here. So keep in mind though, on the daily, the big one that you're going to want to watch is this 21 SMA, which is about 437 or so, 437.15. We're likely to get a pretty good bounce off that. You can see we did here as well too. So right now, if we do break that by chance today, and for some reason there's enough strength to come down, hit this trend line, and it comes back up and rejects, right, and you start to see that bearish push down, that fall that could come next, or that trend it could create in that fall, is going to be pretty huge. Because if you think about it, if we break this trend and we come down, right, the next level of support is around here, which is around 431, which is also a neckline to a pretty nasty double top, right? So, and if you look at it here, on this side of the double top, we came down, we tried to pump back up, and then we lost it right away. So, you know, again, if we find support at 437, we could see one more pump up, given more of a localized double top slash into a kind of a triple top there. So that's all on the daily, so that could take some time, right? So if we want to look closer, we'll look at the 1 hour. So the 1 hour, you can see currently is in a squeeze in the after hours. We have the 200 EMA on the 1 hour right here, where it bounced, squeezed, broke up, collapsed, and now we're back in the squeeze between the SMA and the 200 EMA. So if you look at it, our divergence, Hunter, is showing we're still more bearish than we are bullish. We are below this trend line now too. So not only we're below the trend line, we have the SMA to break. So it would have to reclaim this trend line around 439.48 or so for you to be bullish to get back to the 442. As far as the bearish goes, if market open happens to push this below the 200, and we do break below 438, and then we're likely to get our bounce here around 437 again, like we did here and we did here, and then that bounce is going to be a huge of huge importance, right? Because if we do see it come down like this, it comes up, and then it gets one more bounce, comes up, then that would be the explosion that it needs, because it'll reclaim this side, right, to get into here. So also, just looking at it on the extended hours and the 1 hour, you have little things that are popping up, right, where you might have just a little bitty inverse head and shoulder that could be forming. A lot of different ways that this could go. As far as the low that I have for a bounce, if you do end up seeing the opportunity for a put, you could ride it probably as low as 435, 436, somewhere in here. If you're looking for a call, I would be really cautious. I would trail it kind of tight as it gets up to about 439.50. If we happen to break here and we hold the support, right, you could trail it, allow it to break up here. If it holds support, then you can widen that trail, because it's likely going to continue up in a pretty decent way. So it's kind of the levels that I'm gonna be watching with the SPY. So let's talk about Apple. So if you look at Apple, we just had nonstop chase for the all-time highs. It's kind of losing some steam. But you can see it's really just a cool off that it needed. This is the level you're going to want to watch again on the 1 hour. Same thing on the 200 EMA. It's just kind of in a squeeze, right? Right now, everything is still showing that it's showing weakness. But you have the 200 EMA. It did get a nice little bounce off. Not as strong as I would have liked if I wanted to see that it was going to come up for that all-time high again. But as long as it stays above this 200 on the 1 hour, puts are just going to be dangerous. I would not take a put on this right now. If I want to take a put on Apple, I'm going to wait for it to break this 200, find some support probably on this prior resistance level, pull back up, and reject off the 200. That would be my signal for the put. As far as a call, I just want to see some consolidation here, or accumulation after this fall. And then once I see some strength held at this level continuously, right, then I will wait for it to flip this SMA that's going to be dragging down, and then you can take that call. So let me go. I'm trying to touch on most of the ones people ask for, because I usually don't have time to get to all of them. Sorry about that. I'm actually over my cold finally. It was got that through the weekend, but still a little bit left in there, so I apologize. On Google, if y'all remember, we talked about we had this rounded top, had a little bit of a handle that I didn't like forming, which would be our inverse cup and handle. If that were to break this level here, right around 116 or so, that fall is going to be pretty nasty, down to probably 110, because it's going to begin to reclaim this side, right, if it collapses this level here. So I would say if you're looking to take a call, I would want to see some strong support on 116, continuously held, and then a push north on that with our indicators showing long. Then you'd be clear to take that call. If I want to take a put, On this, you are kind of close to that support, right? So you might want to run that tight stop loss. I would probably, if I would watch the EMAs and the SMAs as they move. Do I have the? No, I don't see the 200. Let's see where that 200 is. Yeah, so we're below the 200. You can see right here. That's on my zone tracker. So we are below the 200 and the SMA is coming down. So if you want to take puts, you might want to take them on rejections off of the SMA around 119.65. Just let that market play out a little. We are in the lower half as far as over sold. So I would not push the put, right? Not quite yet. If you already missed this ride down, you might want to just wait for the bounce of support here, right, and catch a little scalp up. But again, this is going to be that kind of neckline area that could collapse pretty strong. So be really careful. I get a few Microsofts. I think I had. Let me mute my. I love Harmonic Tracker Pro is my favorite indicator, but it has quite a lot going on. So sometimes it's hard to show people what I see with it. So on the 1 hour again, I love the 1 hour just for guidance of direction because it's just so many traders use it. Bollinger Bands tightened up a little bit, but they are still green. We are near a heavy support area here on Microsoft on this side here. So, but I would the key area for Microsoft to watch is one, if this divergence hunter flips green, you'd be okay to take a call. I think. You are pretty tight towards because we're below the 200 EMA and the SMA is enclosing on the EMA. So if we get this death cross and it does reject off of it, we're likely to see some more downside on that. The next level of support, our zone tracker is not calling until like 314, but I would probably say your next level of support is going to be somewhere in here, obviously. Your first level would be around 430 or 332, and then 328, and then the 321 is where you'll likely, if we do break down here, right, it's likely to get a pretty nasty bounce here, right, where this blue line is called. So the blue line, typically, people ask of the zone tracker sometimes what the blue line means. It means that it has acted as both support and resistance in a recent period, right? And so it sometimes those are stronger, right? They can be as strong, if not stronger, than the green or the red. So you definitely want to be aware of those blue lines, right? So that's kind of the range that I would watch for. If this death cross happens, we're definitely getting more downside. If we do flip above and avoid this, then we should get a pretty good push back up to about 347 or so. All right, what's this other one? I'm gonna skip on Amazon just so I can come through and get Tesla. If y'all need Amazon, just post it in there, and TikTok, and I'll do that after. So Tesla's a funny one, man, because it had an explosion. I told y'all when we were up here, I would not be taking a call. Remember, as a trader, these are amazing. They are extremely profitable. But if you miss this, don't chase this. If you chase this, right, you're one of these poor fools that got caught up into here, right, where it's just going to keep bleeding down. Now, could we pump up again? Sure. But let's take a look and see what let's see what we're at. All right, so the first few things that stick out at Tesla, because I have not really looked at this, is I would take a nice little trend line like this. This looks to be our resistance line. So you got hits here all across the board. You got a hit here. You got a hit here. Just can't break it, right? It's starting to show a little bit of weakness. I don't like a lot of the rounded tops you're starting to see through these things, right? You can kind of see that's where it's at right now, right? It's kind of got this like rounded top going on, and you can see that everybody sees that pretty much. We did break below the 200 on the 5-minute. The POC is around 274.60. I would suspect if it comes down here and we break this level of 274.35, that we're going to see a continued push back to 272. Which will keep all those people trapped up there. So, but a lot of support level in here. You can see where it reversed a few times actually. So in this range, if you are taking a put or you're in a put, you may want to trail it pretty tight as we get into this range, so you can capitalize on the bounce up again. This is that white line that it continuously keeps rejecting off of. So we may end up in a squeeze, right? It could come down, hit this, bounce back up, hit this right here, and then collapse back down. So if you're gonna, take those really bigger trades, right? You want to kind of wait for that hit up there. However, if we do come down, hit support, and there's enough support in here to burst us past this line, right? That's when we're going to see our bigger upside, and you'll see almost an explosion back to at least 279, if not 281 on Tesla. So I'm gonna pass on these other ones. I want to jump into crypto because I do want to talk about the ATA a little bit. So let's look at Bitcoin. I'm just looking real quick. I have not really looked at Bitcoin much, so it's been kind of boring, really. It's doing mostly what we talked about. So you can kind of see this sideways movement right now. I mean, at the current moment, we're just ranging between 30,400 and 29.9. What I will say is we are below the 200 on the 1 hour, in a little bit of a squeeze between the 21 SMA. So if we do break down below this like we have in the past, you want to look for this starting to separate like it is away from that 200. But I want to see the candles staying below it like this, right? Once I start to see the candle staying below it to squeeze this support level, that's where the big fall will come. If you zoom out and look, when in doubt, zoom out kind of thing, right? And you can see we're just kind of hanging on a cliff right here. It doesn't mean that we're going to collapse here, because you have to keep in mind the news expected on Wednesday is bullish. So this could be a setup where they're trying to trap liquidity, right? So if you look at the moves like this, where you see these big moves and then it pulls down, right? It doesn't go back, doesn't go back, doesn't go back. The moment it came back up here, notice it did not create a higher high. So it didn't quite release those traders unless they wanted to take that loss. Then you had your stop hunt like this, right? Boom, came down. Most people that were in their longs here probably had a stop somewhere down here. That's why we wicked just below. That's pretty classic. And then at the same time, now you have a bunch of people in shorts all through here. And so then notice that we push back up at this point after the stop hunt, and we retest this side as well as we wick, right? So we not only did it trap some people, right? We came down, came back up here, which would have probably stopped the stop losses on the shorts. And then we had people in the longs, which immediately probably got stopped out again. So there's a lot of games in the up and down, right? So, as far as the potential of, are we going up, are we going down? The news this week is going to play a big part on that. You all know how I trade in my feelings about the gap fill. These cliffs don't typically hold very long, but there is times that you can have like this, right? So you have this crazy push up here. We still didn't gap fill, and we did have one more push up before we began our trend down to fill that gap, right? So there is a possibility that we could come through here, and we could see enough hold of support, the news be bullish, an explosion push, right? Which could go, we could get up into the 32 range easily. I want to say I had if you go to, I think I took it off, but we do have enough data here where we could just take some localized peaks like this and just push it like that, right? So now you have 1, 2, 3 hits on that. So if we go let's go to the 1 hour, and let's see where that puts us, right? So that would put us somewhere around 31.5 or so if we were to come up again. But our zone tracker on the 1 hour is showing, we can get up to 31.9, as far as high as that. So, we definitely, if the news comes out bullish enough to explode us north, that's the high that I would look for. Again, just be really careful. I love to say, the gap fill is down, which means the big move has a higher potential to be down. And so set your stop losses. But again, this is why the market makers are pushing these wicks like this, because people know that you're setting your stop losses. So if unfortunately, you may have to extend that stop loss a little bit to prevent your self getting wicked out. Or keep your volume, low enough to comparison to your account that if you do get caught in this reclaim of this side, right, where you pull down, you can add enough of a DCA to pull that down in here, because anything in here is likely going to get a pretty good bounce at some point. So that's kind of where I would watch for Bitcoin today. As far as the 1 hour, we're kind of in the middle in the RSI. The daily is red, showing that there's room to go down. Yeah, so like I said, I would just play a range on that. We do have a little bit of a gap fill also here that needs to be filled around 28.4. Ethereum. Let's see. So looking at the 1 hour, it's a little different than Bitcoin, I think, in my opinion, because we're not as consolidated, right? We did have, some push up with some strength, not just wicks. We did get a rejection off the level that I was talking about. If you look, this was Monday the 3rd. So you look back here, we drew these two lines back. I think it was a little bit ago, and we got that cross, right? So to have this hold with any kind of strength was it was pretty known that we probably wouldn't, right? Not to mention the 1980 range is just such a crazy resistance. And so we did have that rejection. It is continuing to hold that 1828, 1830 range. As far as support, that's the level I'd look for it to break. I do still have a low of Ethereum around 1700. So if that level were to break, we'd probably find some support in here, because keep in mind, if this goes along farther, right, then now that becomes this level. So if we do break this level, if you notice all the support that we've had through here tends to line up right where this trend line is, right? That's no coincidence. When those type of things happen, that's when you get these crazy bounces here, like this, right? So if you do get this breakdown north, this is setting up for just an amazing long. So I would definitely play that range. The high, until it breaks, 1950, 1970, these trend lines that I have, as well as the zone tracker, I'm not convinced about the explosion, but we have news again. We may range. You may see like a push north, a push south, a push north. That's the market makers trying to trap liquidity, and then if they believe that we are going to be bullish and that it's going to push up, you may see us bleed a little bit today, right, or tomorrow, to try to wipe some of the longs, or to squeeze them, right, cause them to want to stop out. So like I said, just trust the charts, what you see, follow your indicators, and you'll be all right. So let's talk about the ATA. So I wanted to set this up. We do have a copy trade going on today. A few things that we have added on the stat bar. Let me make sure you all can see it on TikTok. I'm gonna zoom in here. So this is some data that we've have pulled, is win rate. But we also added average hours in trade, average minutes in trade. So this is important data when you're trading options, right? Because you may need to get out of that trade, sooner, or you may need to take larger contracts. So like parabolic SARS, I like the overall trades that parabolic SARS takes. It's not nearly as aggressive, but you can see in an uptrend, right, it still did very well. It didn't really get stuck. And you can see that the time duration that it is an average of 6 hours. So if I'm going to run parabolic SARS, because of the fact that it's not as aggressive, but it typically takes fairly good calls or puts, then what I'm going to do is try to take something a little longer, like maybe a 3-day or even maybe a 4-day, right? Being that we have news on Wednesday, I'm going to probably bump this up just a little bit to maybe a 4-day today on the puts, and then I'm gonna go ahead and run the parabolic SARS as my play today. I don't want to run nothing too crazy aggressive on Monday or Tuesday, because we really want to try not to get caught in something come the news, right? So we're going to just stick with the SARS today, leave it untouched. We're going to trade right at market open. I'm okay with taking trades all the way to 345, because of the fact that we have so many days on our contract potential. So if it sees something close at the end, right, I'm okay with taking it. And then we'll close or we're not going to close any trades at the end of the day because we're going to let the contracts run. We're going to take a little bit of a higher strike price. Let's see where that puts it. Because the strike price is going to be, something as far as how much that contract is going to cost, right? We don't want to have it too close. So let's see. So this is a 438.95, taking about a 436. Okay, contract price. So that's about $3 away. That's roughly what I like, anyways. This one's about $2, which is fine. On a four day, I'm okay with that. So we'll leave that up a little bit. We did adjust some TPs. Just an update. When we were monitoring it further on Friday, one of the things that we noticed on some of the trades is that TP2 and 3 were a little bit spread, and so we had a few times it actually came down and touched TP2 and then shot back up, right? And so it gave up a little bit of profit that we could have locked in, right? So we went and modified those defaults so you can see the TP lines are a little bit tighter. In options, you just want to secure your profit, get out and look for another trade, right? It's not about you want to minimize that risk as much as you can and maximize as much profit as you can as it moves. So DCAs we're sticking, same thing. That two times right there. We're gonna put that at 0.4, and then I have a stop loss at 1%. So if it moves about $4, it'll stop out of the trade. That's just gonna protect you from any kind of like parabolic movement. If that trade hits, right, it's obviously those are gonna hurt, but it gives it time. It gives it time, and it gives it the ability to DCA its way out, right? You have options to add funds to that trade if you need to work your way out of it. So so that's kind of where I'm going to go with on the SARS. Just double checking everything. Yep, looks good. All right, so let's go 2023. Oh, take that 0 out. TikTok, I almost forgot about you. All right. And that's 7. Sorry about that. 7:10. And then we're just, again, you can't do it till 9:30 anyway, so we just put 9:30. Close trade on chart, and then we're gonna let that populate. Obviously, it's gonna change your statistics bar because you've added that yellow for 9:30. So let's go ahead and add the alert. We're just gonna call it ATA copy. I'll just put because we're only doing one anyway, so for now. So let's delete these old ones because we are gonna run something new. All right, let's mute this. So I'm gonna do similar to here to the calls. I'm gonna put 4 days. We'll do parabolic SARS on this one as well. Same times as the other one. Same strike price. DCA, I have this one as 0.5, give it a little more room. I'm doing that because we are still high in the range, so we have potential that we could definitely go down further. So give it a little more room to make that decision on that DCA. So all right, so everything looks good on that. Let's just close the candle. 2023 7:10 at 8. Oh wait, 9:30. Remember, so still working out the big habits. Close trade on charts, and everything else looks good. So we are gonna add that alert. ATA copy call. All right, and we are set. So we have the calls and we have the puts in there on the range. Just to update y'all too, this week our plan from a development standpoint is to work on finalizing the user end indicator for the options. We'll push that out as soon as we can. Hopefully, probably by maybe as soon as tomorrow or Wednesday. We just have to recreate that options indicator. Once we have that ability to send that out, those who have already asked for it, we'll try to initiate those to you. And then that way, y'all can do your own thing, right? You don't have to just do copy trade. If you have some other stuff you want to test out or whatever, you want to do your own thing, it is coming soon. So, keep an eye out for that. We will announce that here soon, probably the next day or so. So, we are also, some other news. We are working on the live trader portion of it. The live trader indicator is going to be pretty sick. I'm not going to do a copy trade one on that one, but you will have the ability to use that yourself. The live trader is awesome, and we're going to do, once we build it, I'll do a whole huddle kind of around that. But it's basically, you're trading live, you're doing your own thing, but you're able to set your range to tell it when to enter. A lot of good traders know, you don't want to just stare at the charts, right? You want to wait till your setup. So let's say you're trading, this range for the day, right? So you have your support, you have your resistance. You can literally tell it, anything here on the way back, take a put, right? Which this would have worked out good. Now you can tell it anything above here to take your call, right? And it wouldn't have taken a call the whole day. And then right here, boom, it would have threw you in a call and would have been a great trade. And so it's a way to give yourself some time back. It's a way to solve your probably issue with trading, which is patience and discipline. So we're actually really excited for the live trader portion of it too. I'm actually looking forward to that, because then we can just, in the mornings we can talk about our range, set up our settings, and BS about other stuff for the rest of the day, or go do something else, right? So super excited for that. But I hope that helps you all out. That's what the plan is today. On that. So that's kind of where we're going. So have a great day of trading. If you want to come into the room, I'm going to open up that room in the morning. I do have some plans and some meetings, because Mondays are super busy. So I'll probably keep the room up until about maybe 11 or so EST. So we'll see you in the room.